Good evening. I'm Mayor Javier Figueroa, and I'm calling this regular meeting of the University Place City Council for Monday, October the 6th, 2025 to order. And so I'll start with we'll all have the city clerk do the roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Boykin.
Here.
Councilmember McCluskey.
I'm here.
Councilmember Fleming is excused. Councilmember Grassi.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Present.
Mayor Figueroa.
Present. And will Mayor Pro Tem Wood lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Would you please rise for me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, the agenda is approved. And presentations. So it's fun and full of surprises to see our community acknowledged in public, and we have a few today. And as you can see, we rarely have so many people show up for our fantastic meetings that we discuss, but I know why you're here. So but that's great news. It's positive news that those that are being recognized today have followers. And so with that, I'd like to have the chief join us, and Mayor Pro Tem Wood join us. Join me. Chief. We're going to start, we have several, but we're going to start with Chief Burke, and we have a couple in his department that will be recognized, and then move on to Mayor Pro Tem, which he will recognize with a proclamation, and then myself. So, Chief?
Right on. Sydney, you're up first. Come on up. Ray, you're welcome to come up and join us. Are you sure? Okay. All right, to start, we have a certificate of recognition for Officer Sydney Davis, so I'll go ahead and read it here. The City Council of University Place proudly presents this certificate to Deputy Sydney Davis in recognition of her exceptional accomplishments and unwavering resilience. Deputy Davis recently earned 3 medals at the prestigious World Police and Fire Games in Birmingham, Alabama, an international event featuring over 1,600 first responder athletes competing across more than 60 events. Despite sustaining serious injuries while on patrol, including a fracture and damage to her spine and shoulder, Deputy Davis demonstrated remarkable determination and strength. She secured silver medals in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 4x100-meter relay races. A former collegiate soccer player, Deputy Davis credits her passion for athletics and commitment to physical fitness as key factors in her recovery. Her journey of perseverance continued with her participation in the U.S. Police and Fire Games in San Diego in 2024, and she is already preparing to compete in the next World Games in 2027 in Australia. Congratulations, Sydney. Your courage and dedication inspire us all. Thank you. All right. We've got Chris Rather joining us, and we have a proclamation tonight. I'll read from the proclamation to start. Then we've got a couple plaques that we'll give to you, and I'll have just a few more words as well. offer the mic to you if you'd like, but we'll see. I won't put you on the spot. City of University Place proclamation. Whereas Chris Rather has served the Pierce County Sheriff's Department as a dedicated deputy sheriff since 1994, marking 31 years of service. Since 1999, he has devoted the majority of his career, 26 years, to serving the University Place community. And whereas, while working in University Place, he served as a valued member of the Sheriff's Department SWAT team. In addition to his SWAT duties, he dedicated 27 years as an instructor for the Emergency Vehicle Operations course. His colleagues consistently praised him as one of the best instructors on the team and recognized him as one of the most skilled drivers in the entire Sheriff's Department. And whereas, in addition to special assignments, Deputy Rather has received numerous awards and commendations for both individual and team achievements. Through many years of dedicated service in University Place, he has consistently shown that strong communities are built on exceptional public safety partnerships. He earned a reputation as the kind of officer you want by your side. Whereas Deputy Rather served as the city's dedicated bike patrol lead, taking responsibility for ensuring all police bicycles were properly maintained, safe, and ready for duty. He recognized the value of community bike patrols and worked diligently to equip officers with reliable and secure tools whenever needed. We're about halfway there. This is what you get with 31 years, though. Almost there. Buckle up. Whereas, while serving in University Place, Deputy Rather developed a reputation among his colleagues for consistently demonstrating a positive attitude, being an attentive listener, and treating all residents, whether in crisis or not, with the utmost respect, compassion, and sensitivity. His peers also commend him for possessing highly refined officer safety skills and techniques, which he effectively applies to ensure the safety of both fellow officers and community members during high-stress and chaotic situations. And whereas Deputy Rather has trained and worked with hundreds of patrol deputies throughout Pierce County and University Place, championing the Sheriff's Office set of core values. His efforts have left a lasting legacy that fosters a culture of excellence in public safety service. And whereas Deputy Rather's unwavering dedication and pursuit of excellence in community policing have left a lasting impact on University Place. He will be deeply missed by everyone who had the privilege of working alongside him. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of University Place proudly extends its heartfelt congratulations and sincere gratitude to Deputy Chris Rather for his unwavering dedication, exemplary service, and outstanding achievements. We wish you a joyful retirement and great success in all your future endeavors. We've got a plaque from the Sheriff's Office and one from our team here in UP. And as you know, these not only demonstrate years of service, but also years of sacrifice. Hey, we make them tough. It's good. Yeah. They're not as strong as you, but they're strong. No, just years of service and sacrifice. You set the example on not only on the SWAT team and University Place for just steady professionalism day in and day out. We have tons of respect for your skills and your experience, but more than that, just the person you are and the man that you are. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
This one's for you on behalf of the city, on behalf of the council. And this is kind of heavy, and it might be too heavy for you. Here.
Okay.
Can you hold that for him? Because it's just a little heavy for him.
Oh, there you go.
So, photo time. Chris, thank you for everything you've done for our city and our community. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. And I appreciate all your guys' support. So that's been a big part of this whole thing, too.
Oh, can you say that out loud?
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Chief. Really appreciate it. So the next proclamation is Mayor Pro Tem Wood Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. Could I have Desiree Fagan come and join me up here? Desiree represents the Duwamish tribe from Seattle. And this proclamation is for Indigenous Peoples Day. And Tulalip, my apologies. Duwamish and Tulalip. So whereas Indigenous Peoples Day honors the strength, courage, and resilience of Native American communities, and whereas the observance of Indigenous Peoples Day began in 1977 at a United Nations conference focused on addressing discrimination against indigenous populations in the Americas, where advocates sought to challenge the traditional Columbus Day narrative, and whereas Washington State is home to 29 federally recognized tribal nations, along with many other indigenous communities who continue to advocate for their treaty rights, sovereignty, and recognition, and whereas the city of University Place is located on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the Puyallup and Steilacoom tribes, who have lived in this region since time immemorial and remain the original stewards of the land we inhabit today. And whereas we recognize and honor the enduring presence, strength, and cultural richness of the Coast Salish peoples, whose traditions, languages, and knowledge systems continue to thrive despite centuries of violence, displacement, and forced assimilation. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of University Place hereby proclaims October 13th, 2025 as Indigenous Peoples Day, in recognition of the history, resilience, and contributions of Native American communities. Let us honor their legacy, uphold their rights, and commit to learning from their wisdom and traditions, acknowledging the past and working toward a future rooted in respect, justice, and shared stewardship of this land. Proclaimed by the City Council of the City of University Place, Washington, on October 6, 2025. Signed, Javier Figueroa, Mayor. And would you like to say a couple words?
Sure. If you hold the Hatzlahel, good day. My name is Desiree Fagan. I am a community member here in University Place for many years now. I am Tulalip and Duwamish. I appreciate this first step forward in acknowledging and honoring the first peoples of this land, our rich culture and traditions that are abundant here on our ancestral Coast Salish territories since time immemorial. I'm hopeful this can be the beginning of a future resolution for Indigenous Peoples Day, also for Native American Heritage Month, here in our great city of University Place. As a former councilwoman for the Duwamish tribe, I feel it is a calling of mine to advocate for all of my relations. I am hopeful that our city will welcome Native representation as far as public artists, community education on the Indigenous history of the land we all work on and live on today. I raise my hands to all of you for doing this important work to support our diverse Indigenous community, Taguiseed. Thank you.
And I neglect to introduce her husband, Matthew.
The last one is a certificate of recognition, and I think I have the names here who's to receive this, and that would be Amber Olleman, Executive Director for, let me get this straightened out. Okay, this is for Bridgeport Place Assisted Living and Memory Care 25th anniversary. And Amber Elliman and is the Executive Director. And you must be her, right? Okay. So our city is 30 years old. Just recently in August, you saw the big bash. And so for some of our businesses that have been here almost at the beginning of our cityhood, I think is very, we try to recognize. It's hard to recognize every one of them because not everybody acknowledges their birthday or tells us when, but I was recently invited to their 25th anniversary, and I went to it, and it's just, it's so gracious to have a facility, an assisted care living that takes care of our seniors in a very nice manner, clean, warm, caring staff,
And, I don't know how many families, I don't know about you, but I know that in my family and other families, I hear about being worried about the facility their parents will go to. I can tell you that I talked to almost every senior that was there out there partying. Not that they were partying hard, but they were partying. And they were so happy to be there. And they were and it's surprising to me, they actually say that some of them said, well, we're just so glad that it's in University Place. Some of them knew about our city, and they were happy to be that this business facility was actually located in University Place. So in that respect, we decided that we should recognize you, and so the City Council of University Place recognizes and congratulates Bridgeport Place Assisted Living and Memory Care on its 25th anniversary, a remarkable milestone that reflects a legacy of compassion, excellence, and unwavering commitment to the residents and mission of Bridgeport Place. You have been a cornerstone of a vibrant and nurturing community, helping residents thrive through their through your care, kindness, and professionalism. Through every act of care and kindness, you have embodied the values of dignity, respect, and excellence in service. Your legacy is reflected in the lives you have touched and the community you have helped shape. Thank you for 25 incredible years of service. You are truly the spirit of University Place. Presented on October the 6th, 2025 by the whole council.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let me go again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you. Okay. Now, I know that most of you didn't come, honestly, to hear the rest of the council business, but if you are, great, you're welcome to stay. If you're not, you also are welcome and won't be seen as ditching us. Thank you. Okay. We lost our mayor pro tem, but I'm sure he'll be back. Do you have any chocolate over here to give to Mayor Pro Tem?
Why are you looking at me? I might have some. Is that what he needs? Is that what he needs?
Driving keep here.
Yeah. Okay. That was nice. So we're now at item number 6, public comments. And we do have a couple signed up. Before we do, City Clerk, is there anybody up online?
I don't see anyone online, Mayor.
Okay. We'll move on to those that actually signed in. And I see going to have a hard time with the last name, but Dan Novoskuskic. Okay. Would you come up, please? Oh, Steve, will somebody show him? Okay.
This is Dan.
And you have, it's on. You have 3 minutes. State your name and the city you live in. And then you have 3 minutes to just share what your concern.
Do song lyrics and make my kids happy. No. My name is Dan Novogradsky. I live in University Place. We could use help, so I thought I'd come in and ask for it. We have a neighborhood issue. It's been an ongoing issue with safety and a lot of other things for a number of years. There's an address, 5502 Briston Wood. There's a person living there, I'm going to say his name, Gerald Lucas, who's been threatening and intimidating neighbors for years. We've gone through code enforcement for years. When we've dealt with police officers, they've been tremendously helpful and positive. But we haven't had the level of support we've needed from code enforcement. And again, it's a 5-year plus ordeal. We've had neighbors move away, have to cut prices on their homes. We've had damage, debris, drug culture, violence, people being dragged into the home at 3 a.m. Police calls, but not as many as there should be because people are afraid to call. People are afraid to bring attention to themselves. And it's, people are now, another group of people are about ready to give up. A few other neighbors are going to come here. They're trying to go through public records to pull up more details. But I thought I'd at least come and just simply ask for help because we want help. This place is 3 blocks away from Chambers Primary, so that's 400 to 500 K through 4 kids. Chambers Primary is one of the magnet schools, I believe, for the after-school care program. So even people who don't live anywhere near that neighborhood are affected. They've already had to do a forced police entry. An unlawful imprisonment charge appeared for a little while, but evaporated for reasons I don't know, but I can guess, but I don't know. So this is, a guy who's come up and threatened me and screamed at me at the top of his lungs when I'm on the street because I'm a big fat old man. I'll take a picture of his yard for the HOA, for the Homeowners Association, to try to fine him, to try to rid up all the years of unpaid dues. But all we can do as an HOA is money, and he still has a way. He has a benefactor who pulls him out of foreclosure, pulls him out of the financial penalty, and that's all we can do. So yeah, this guy will run up to me in the middle of the street and threaten me and say, I have guns, I have a gun. This guy will fly the Confederate flag. This guy will have the sign that says F this or that 3 blocks away from the school with hundreds of kids. You've had to make a forced entry into this guy's home at least once. People are giving up, and we need help. I heard a beep. Should that mean to stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next person on the list is Desiree Fergin.
And she just left. She was the person from the Duwamish to Wayland Tribe.
Got it. Okay. And we don't have anybody online, so that ends the public comment section. We'll move on to items 7A through 7F. And may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as proposed.
I'll second.
Is there any objections to approving the consent agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. And moving on to public hearing and council consideration, item number 8, Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan Amendment. And I believe this is going to be a public hearing to consider the proposed amendment. And we'll start with a staff report, Jack Eklund, the Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. As you mentioned, I am Jack Eklund, Director of Public Works, and tonight I am bringing for public hearing and consideration amendments to the city's Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, also referred to as the PROS Plan. This plan was last updated in 2020. At that time, it was identified that additional parking and trail improvements were needed to support both the Kobayashi Preserve and the Adriana Hess Wetland Parks. An opportunity has arisen to acquire properties adjacent to both of these parks, which can accommodate these identified needs. Now, in order to accommodate these opportunities, it's proposed to amend Section 6 of the PROS Plan to note both the recommended acquisition of the adjacent properties as well as construction of additional trail and parking improvements on those properties. This is further detailed in the council bill and resolution that's included in your council packet. This amendment was studied at a previous council meeting, and staff recommends the motion to approve to amend this as included, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. And this is an open public hearing and taking comments. At this time, is there anybody online?
No one online, Mayor.
Anyone present that would like to comment? I see a hand raising. Would you please come up and state your name and the city you live in? And you have 3 minutes once you start.
Hi, my name is Ellen Kojima. I live here in University Place, and I don't have any prepared remarks about this, but I was at the meeting the last City Council meeting and heard about this plan about Kobayashi Park and Adriana Hess, and I'm really interested in that. It's especially the part about the Kobayashi Park. So I just have a lot of questions, and first being as it moves forward, as the plan moves forward, will there be more opportunity for public input on things like the parking lot, extending the parking lot? So a neighbor and I recently went down, after we were at the last meeting, we went down to Kobayashi Park, and we looked at that. And of course, the parking lot is totally limited, but there's so many other factors there, environmental factors. And I don't know where, we could not see a place where a parking lot could go without removing really beautiful trees that are necessary. We also saw salmon coming up, Chinook salmon and cutthroat trout, just a few. And I know you mentioned at the last meeting something about this and about how the dam is going to be removed, and so salmon will be able to be coming up. And so that's really my concern is moving forward, is what will be the checks and balances on how it's done environmentally, and will it be able to be for the benefit of protecting the salmon and the trees. I mean, it's just a beautiful place, and it just totally needs to be preserved and not overused, and that's kind of my question. And
thank you. We don't entertain questions and public comments, but a staff member will be in touch with you to answer any questions.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here from the public present that would like to come and comment as part of the public hearing? I don't see any other folks come forward, so we'll close the public hearing portion of this, and we'll go to council consideration. And I'm calling for a motion to consider the amendment of the proposed plan.
Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution amending the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan.
I second.
With that, we can now go into discussion, comments, and et cetera. So any council members have any comments? Councilmember McCluskey.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I too as we know, Kobayashi is a sensitive area, and I'm glad to hear that you have salmon sighting. It's been well over a year since I sighted salmon in there, so I'm going to go back and check it out. That's always really exciting when you see them returning up the stream, and we do need to do our due diligence, and it is our duty as stewards of the land to protect the natural environment first and foremost prior to any active recreational uses and parking. It is a sensitive area, and our staff is really good at looking at that. There's other studies that will be happening so that in essence, it's kind of a park preserve, so it's a dual interest, competing interest there. So we'll see what the staff comes back with. So thank you for your comments, and thank you for allowing me to comment.
Anyone else? Okay, so I'll call for a vote, and will the city clerk take a vote?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Boykin,
Yes.
Councilmember McCluskey,
Yes.
Councilmember Grassi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood,
Aye.
and Mayor Figueroa.
Aye.
Mayor, vote resolved, 5 ayes, 0
Okay.
nays.
So
Motion passes.
we'll move on to item number 9, real property purchase, the Frederick property, and we'll have a staff report by Mr. Jack Eklund, our Public Works Director.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, timely, right after that, I do have for you the purchase sale. We have spoken with the neighboring property. We have agreed to negotiate a purchase and sale agreement for that property that's located immediately adjacent to Kobayashi at 6428 Chambers Creek Road West. We've identified this as consistent with what we just acted on the pros plan as strategic acquisition for public use, as well as it'll help us provide some additional parking that will, and also be sensitive to the existing land. As the resident mentioned, there are a lot of challenges at Kobayashi. We do not have the ability to expand parking at that property itself. And so by acquiring this adjacent property, we have that ability to utilize existing paved surface and area for parking so that we're not to disturb the natural environment. And this acquisition land also gives us another 1.5 acres of land around the creek to enjoy and preserve as well, and have some additional trails. So this property is currently owned by Joanne Frederick. Their family has owned it for a very, very long time, and we are excited that they've brought this opportunity to the city too, and thankful for that. With that, I do have to note the proposed price that we've agreed on at this point is $735,000. There was an appraisal of the property that came in at just over $800,000, so it is a good deal for the city. Also, there is this property will be the purchase. There are sufficient funds to pay for it. It's not formally allocated as a budget per se at this point. So there will be an appropriation that needs to take place in the next budget adjustment. But with that, it's anticipated half of the funds will be coming out of our park impact fee, which is we have over $2 million available to use for that purpose, and then the rest would come out of likely general fund sources. However, our finance director has identified that there is available funds for this. So with that, I do recommend authorizing the purchase of this property, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So I'd like to entertain, for clarification only, we will have, as you know, time for discussion and comments and all that. So if you can keep it to clarification of what was said by the director here. Anyone? Okay, so it was good. So we'll go to public comment. Anybody here from the public present that would like to comment on the real property purchase? I don't see anybody coming forward. So anybody online?
No one online, Mayor?
You said one?
No one.
Oh, no one. Okay. I was hoping at least one. No. Okay, so that ends the public comment, and we'll move on to council consideration. Calling for a motion to consider the real property purchase.
Mayor, I move that we approve the purchase of real property located at 6428 Chambers Creek Road West, University Place, Washington, 98467, currently owned by Joanne D. Frederick, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents to complete the purchase.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll move to discussion and comments. So I'd like to start and say what a lucky property how lucky we are to have a property come up for sale at a time that we've been discussing this property in detail about parking, about safety, about expanding a park that has been a favorite of our community. And so this doesn't happen very often. Becomes sometimes where we have to pay a lot more and incentives of some sorts of benefits to get that property, or even a condemnation. But we were very fortunate to have this come up and have that available at a reasonable price. So I'm really happy for our city to be able to purchase this property. Anyone else? Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I echo the mayor's sentiments of this wonderful opportunity. And you are correct, Kobayashi is a treasure. And to be able to expand in an appropriate way with this treasure of the property, I have spent numerous hours at the Frederick home and at that property specifically. And I just want to extend a thank you, as the mayor alluded to, and as Jack, you said, this came in under over appraisal value over what they're willing to sell it to us, and I just want to thank them. They are longtime residents of University Place, and they also see the incredible value of adding this to our city and the treasure. They've enjoyed Kobayashi themselves as neighbors, and so now they want to expand it for our city, and I think that's just a wonderful opportunity. So I think gratitude to them, but also just a unique opportunity that we're able to take advantage of in a positive way. So I'm excited about the responsible growth that it will have for Kobayashi. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, everyone that has had really an impact in this effort. I am appreciative of what the mayor suggested as luck. I just want to reiterate that my understanding that luck, particularly great luck, is when preparation meets with opportunity. And I am confident that we've had residents as well as staff lean into the opportunities around our treasures, our Kobayashi Park at a minimum, and other ways in which we know that all of us working together, we can create this to be the city of destination. This is in no small way affirming that. So just excited that we get an opportunity to do this. We've already did the checks and balances of our fiduciary responsibility by making sure that the property that's available to us certainly has the opportunity to be of value in a number of ways, and we have already done the due diligence of how we could move forward to protect it, to protect the city, and also create the asset that we really want to see with the interest that has been shared both from public comment as well as from the dais. So I'm just excited about all of it, but really want to reiterate that the success is that preparation when it meets with the opportunity, and I'm glad we all prepared for making a great opportunity available to us all. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Didn't have a whole lot to say other than I support this effort. I think Kobayashi Park, as was already mentioned, is a treasure, and I look forward to improving the experience of people who go there. Thank you.
Councilmember McCluskey.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Well, I can't help myself. I need to make a comment on this. It's regarding impacting our parks. This also enhances the opportunity for people that are mobility challenged to have more parking sites for them. Also helps these stresses on the neighborhood on top of Kobayashi that have been impacted by the overparking as well to a certain degree. I also am excited about the acre and a half of additional park property in Kobayashi. That is certainly an asset. When you come into a constricted area like Kobayashi, there is, as the mayor has indicated, a rare opportunity to expand park property. This is our really diamond hidden in the woods along the creeks that has been enjoyed for centuries. And protecting it, hopefully, will be enjoyed for centuries to come in its natural habitat. Thanks.
Okay, I have one last comment, and you're welcome to correct the mayor if I'm wrong, okay, but not too harshly.
I just want to be clear for everybody that's listening, and just to remind everybody, because somebody says, well, $730,000, I mean, where's that money? We're going to now be able to see our streets, maintained? Are we going to have staff fired? I just want to be clear that, we have park fees that are collected. The $2 million that Mr. Eklund alluded to, that comes from developments that occur, commercial developments that occur here in the city, and they have fees that they pay that goes toward such thing as for our parks, for capital improvements as well as purchases. So half of that, and the only reason, if I understand, not all of it, is because of the restrictions laid on that, correct?
That's
okay.
right. Mm-hmm.
So there's restrictions how much you can use that for purchase. Most of it is for capital improvements. Some of the things you've seen around our parks that are being improved, those are the monies that are utilized. So the other half that's going to be used is in fund balance that we happen to have. I wouldn't say extra, but we have remaining in fund balance that we can use for unforeseen necessities like this, and the reason we end up with an in fund balance is because we have a great staff. We have a great staff that doesn't go wild on spending, that is conservative on how they spend and how they do the community's business. We have an in fund balance because the council makes great financial policies that adheres to financial needs to the city, but yet without overspending, overstretching. So that's where the monies are coming from, and I think that we're in good shape, like Mr. Boykin mentioned, and that is opportunities. We do this with a purpose, not just for opportunities, but we want to make sure we never, or like trying to scratch pennies to pay the bill at the end of the year. We just happen to be very conservative, and we always end up with a little bit more. And we usually use it for opportunities that we just don't see coming, and this is one of them. So that's where the monies come from. With that, anybody else? I think we're good. So with that, let's take a vote. City Clerk? I'm sorry. I thought we did have a motion.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Boykin?
Yes.
Councilmember McCluskey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grassi?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood?
Aye.
And Mayor Figueroa.
Aye.
Mayor, vote resolved, 5 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Eklund.
Thank you.
We move on to item number 10, City Manager and Council comments and reports. So we'll start with City Manager Steve Sugg.
Thank you, Mayor. One item coming up, I may have mentioned this to you individually, but just to let everyone know that the council is, as one of their goals, has for 25-26 was developing the affordable housing program, or address affordable housing in some way, whatever limited way we can. But one of the ways that we're going to address this is by holding a housing development forum in this very room. We've invited 60 or 70 developers, architects, other interested parties that are in the housing business to come and let's have a discussion. We have a co-sponsor of this housing development forum, and that is the City of Lakewood. So between Lakewood and University Place, we're looking for how to expand housing opportunities in both of our cities. So we're having a housing development forum here on November 13th from 9:30 to 1:30. Lunch will be served. And that was my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start with my right over here with Councilmember Grassi. Comments, reports?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everyone that came to Chambers this evening, and thank you for being here. It's just it's better with people here in person, so thank you for being here. I also want to send my personal thank you to Officer Rather. His service to our community cannot be overstated. What a wonderful man. I'm a little concerned that I co-piloted a national night out with him this year, and then he put in his resignation. So I'm not sure if the timing had anything to do with that or not. I hope not. But he and his family have been such a gift to our department. So thank you for his honor. And Sydney Davis, oh my goodness, what a warrior to have her on our team, and to be such a wonderful representation of how you push through adversity and shine on the other side. Incredible. So it was wonderful to honor her. I also want to thank Desiree for coming for our Indigenous Peoples Proclamation. I know that she worked hard. She spent time with Councilmember McCluskey and others to really make this happen for our city, to take time to recognize this important proclamation, Councilmember Boykin as well. So I want to say an extended thank you to her as we took this important, as she said, first step. Recently, attended the Pizza Pizzazz ribbon cutting of their new owners, along with the mayor and Councilmember Boykin. Excited for that new family to re-energize Pizza Pizzazz here in our city. So if you're looking for a great pizza place to order from, I'm so excited. Small business is the backbone of our community, and then you have a family with young kiddos that are making it happen and serving our city with quality. I couldn't be more grateful for the trust that those families put into our city. It is a true gift. Also, the Animal Eye Clinic attended the ribbon cutting for that. Excited to have them in our city. They are 1 out of 5 animal eye clinics in the entire Puget Sound. And if you have a pet, you know they are an extension of your family, their family members. To have that specialty of that available in our neighborhood is just wonderful. So I'm excited for them. Again, what an investment. They completely renovated that space, and they've put a lot of time and money and energy into serving our pets here in University Place and around with excellence. So welcome to them and to our community. I also want to mention this Friday is our Oktoberfest here in Market Square. I encourage our community to come. What a wonderful time. I think we maxed the capacity out for this event last year. I'm looking forward to it. The weather looks like it's going to cooperate, but it's fun for the whole family. And we have our beer garden, kids activities, of course, our businesses that are going to be open, but it's an exciting time. It's Friday. It starts at 5 o'clock, Steve. I'm looking at you for confirmation. It's on our website, but 5 or 6 this Friday. So I am excited to see our community out there this Friday. And then finally, I attended URA. I am grateful to be a part of their elected leadership team, which is the unified regional approach to homelessness championed by the county. And I'm honored to be on that committee with our county executive, our Pierce County chair, Mayor of Tacoma, and other elected leaders. But how we can take a true unified approach to the homelessness epidemic right now in Pierce County. And just to put a name and a face for you, I attended, the last memorial for those that died due to those that are experiencing homelessness on the streets of Pierce County. They do it quarterly. The last one, they honored 40 individuals that passed away. 40 that died from the effects of homelessness in Pierce County. So you think of, yes, the unified approach is a wonderful title, but it's more than that. When I was sitting in that meeting, I was thinking of those 40 individuals that lost their lives in Pierce County due to their current situation of being unhoused. So whatever we can do as a community to bring awareness, to break up our arms and to come with tangible, practical solutions to serve those that are currently experiencing homelessness. I'm honored to do it. I'm honored to represent University Place in that effort, and it was a great meeting. So thank you.
Councilmember Krause, yes, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Thank you, Steve. Yep. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McCluskey.
All right, thank you. I went to the UP historical presentation in the library, and they unveiled some of their banners that they're hoping to display in our atrium, depicting their 25 years as a historical society, as well as the evolution of history to include our schools as well. So that was very enlightening, and also was enlightening discovering some of the names that we just think are just names in our city that has very significant and deep-rooted historical significance as well. So hopefully you can stop by. I believe the museum is now open the first Saturday each month, so do stop by and see your city's history on display. It's beautifully done, and it's very inspirational, and you'd be proud of all the steps that we have taken from when we were a county into cityhood to the present moment. Then I went to the Pierce County Regional Council meeting on September 18th. There was a presentation from the Alliance for Sustainable Action. They are developing a series of 4 workshops to include wildfire. So they gave us an update and a report on that. A report was given for the point-in-time count in regards to Councilmember Grassi's homeless comment of 40 people passing away on our streets. We have in Pierce County 2,955 people that are currently were identified if they showed themselves, because there's probably more under the covers, homeless in our street. This is an 11% uptick for both sheltered and unsheltered homelessness. We also talked about the PCRC's legislative priorities, and we're hoping to wrap that up in an upcoming meeting. The Utrecht Authority reported, I gave you a report on that. They're tied to Park Tacoma, and so their finances are probably not as robust as they're hoping that it could be. So there's some cuts coming in those directions as well. There's other committees that were gave reports. One I'm just going to note, because there's several of them here, is the GMPB, and I can't remember the acronym. I'm sure our mayor does. It's tied to the federal legislation in housing provisions. So our President Trump had declared a national housing emergency. And so we're to get some updates of what that all means going forward. There is an Up for Art concert coming on November 8th. Their world-class harpist, violist, and a flutist will be there, and it starts at 7 p.m. So the last 2 concerts that they had were totally amazing at the quality and level of talent that has come into our atrium. So this should be no exception to that. Hopefully you can be able to enjoy world-class music in our atrium. The Up for Art met as a group for more goal planning, and one of their targeted is marketing and for fundraising, which will create some sustainability for these world-class events in our city. There is, and if you're wondering what's going to happen at our railroad crossing on 6th Avenue and 19th Street, there is upgrades that are coming to those 2 rail crossings. Phase 1 work will be completed after Phase 2. So the Phase 1 work will be relocating vehicle railroad gates and installation of new pedestrian railroad gates. Phase 2 will be coming up in the next, actually it's starting to work. They're working on it this month for the next 3 months, depending on weather. And they will be constructing new sidewalks, curb, ramps, fencing, siding, pavement, and railroad stripings to make that crossing safe for pedestrians and also cars. So in case you're wondering what's going on at those two railroad crossing intersections, it's all good upgrades for that. And with that, I'm going to close my report. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank both the members of our public who came up today and gave public comment. I really appreciate hearing from you both about issues in our city, and because if we don't hear about it, it's really hard to address issues. So thank you for being here. And even though we don't provide council comment after you speak, trust me, you are heard. Staff has heard you, council has heard you, and we'll be taking a look at the issues you raised. Thank you. I'd also like to, in regards to proclamations, I thought it was kind of a microcosm of what is wonderful about being a city and on city council. We got to talk about public safety and the great people we have there. We got to talk about one of our local businesses, and then we got to talk a little bit about one representative group of the diversity of our city. And I just thought it was an amazing little time we had together as a city council. It was great. Very excited about the Housing Development Forum. Thank you for getting that set up, and it's going to be great partnering with Lakewood. I'm really looking forward to hearing what everybody who's invited has to say about how we can address the challenge of housing in our community. That's going to be a winner. And you didn't mention it this time, but you did mention to me before the meeting the roundabout at 36th Street in Grandview. They're doing the ribbon cutting on the 13th, which is Monday. And I'm very excited about that too, because that is, again, a direct a result of community input. People who came forward and said we have a problem. And that roundabout is there to address what was unsafe traffic conditions in that area. And then finally, I went to the Alliance, our quarterly Alliance for Sustainable Climate Action meeting. Thank you, Councilmember McCluskey, for attending one of our events. I'm glad that it's not just me. But the meeting covered a few different things. We had discussions on the CPRG, which is the Climate Protection, I don't know what the R stands for, grant. We talked about development of an EV roadmap. And then we did a little bit of goal setting as a group, because the ASCA is an outgrowth of the previous group, which was the Pierce County Climate Conversation Group. And instead of just being a conversation, we're now moving more towards action. What kind of activities can we do to help support climate response in the city? Of course, and then as part of that, we developed, or they have developed for us to review, a draft legislative agenda which focuses on obviously how we can get funding to address certain issues, to include like wildfire risk, look at building decarbonization, but also helping fund, especially for smaller cities, either grant writers or grant writing opportunities, because the money is there for small cities, but a lot of them don't know how to get after it, or don't have their internal resources to do it. And they're also looking at, as part of that agenda, looking at changing how they apply for grants, instead of being very specific and very, what's the word? Voluminous? I can't pronounce that word. Big. Instead of very big grants, but do basically a formula type funding, which makes it easier for everybody to apply and address their local issues. And there's more to it than that, but since it's draft, I won't go into all the details. But as it's approved, I will send it out to you. And Mayor, that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just first reiterate the great night of recognition in the microcosm that Mayor Pro Tem had underscored, how it really invites you into a really good space, affirming what the City of University Place, in my view, is all about. Thank you so much again for the remarks also by Councilmember Rossi, the excitement about what we were able to celebrate and why we were able to celebrate it. It always comes to the forefront, and I'm that much more appreciative of the individual service as well as collectively how it is that we're able to affirm the indigenous relationship, as well as the expectation of how we move forward, always through community and always moving through our actions centering love. I also wanted to make it a point to appreciate the expectation of, in spite of collectively what we do. Individually, we also have some obligations and opportunities in that. I do want to report out some things I got a chance to do on behalf of the City of University Place. I did attend the Economic Development Corporation of Pierce County, the EDC, PC. We closed out our last scheduled meeting for our annual meetings for the calendar year. That is a mechanism that really provides one more financial tool for small businesses, in particular, to have undergirth and opportunities for financial success. I serve on that committee with Council Member Ayala from obviously our county council, and I want to make sure that I share about her contributions as well as the excellent leadership that comes from others. I also had an opportunity to attend the Association of Washington Cities advocacy meeting. In that regard, we did discuss, as been mentioned, Council Member McCluskey identified that there was an opportunity for us to see, understand, and recognize where we're going in terms of legislative priorities for 2026 for the upcoming short session. Really also got an opportunity to see what new tools are available for advocacy to just make sure that we have a collaborative way of being effective in that regard. I really enjoyed, because I am a big proponent of economic development, I really enjoyed our last ribbon cutting opportunity at Pizza Pizzazz, as was mentioned by others who attended, obviously Councilmember Grassi and Mayor Figueroa in particular. The exciting thing for me beyond that, though, was the splendid family-owned business experience, bringing that to the forefront, seeing all the family members highly participatory, getting a really yummy and tasty experience. It was really comfort food, and I know that for me, you got to know, I'm a pizza connoisseur, so just let that sit in your spirit for a moment. I really had a delightful time. I also did hear from residents. I wanted to make sure I shared this regarding our UP refuge proposal. It was part of consent agenda as this moved forward, but I want to just give voice that it did get a lot of comments, people inquiring about it. The biggest thing is that there were concerns about service level. Would service level be reduced? Would it be mitigated in some regard? I just want to assure you that based upon the language that's going forward with the proposal, there is no room for us to have a reduced experience of service in any capacity. In that regard, my excitement about this is that we're always looking to see how we can better improve resources, services when it comes to our residents and our citizens. So I hope that you're able to learn more about that. We did provide additional information with links and follow-up information because we've got excellent staff. Thank you so much, Emelita, our Deputy City Clerk. She was fantastic in that regard. Also wanted to lastly share with you that I got an opportunity to attend the PRSC Regional Transportation Planning meeting. It was the first one. There will be others, and I believe the next one's on the 23rd, I believe, of October. But it gave us an opportunity to begin to hear how we could share what we believe the vision ought to be, what we believe the pain points and challenges ought to be as we construct a world-class regional transportation system. I'm confident that we're going to get there. Got an opportunity to have some good unexpected time with staff. One of those staff members was our Director of Public Works, Jack Eklund, who also was at the meeting. But really good opportunities in that public meeting. So if you are concerned at all about how we can continue to make not only City of University Place the city of destination, but also care about the surrounding region, there's an opportunity to look at our transportation opportunity in the next meeting. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to share.
You're welcome. So what do I get for having such council members that give such complete reports? I have nothing to say. That's what I get. There's so much that's happening, as you can see and heard. And thank you all for really a lot of ongoing business, and which I was going to report on. Now we made it easy, and here I am trying to say something I don't have anything to say. So with that, we'll move on to our study session. And this item number 11, legislative agenda, first study for adoption and for adoption of a resolution. Staff is Eric Faison, Assistant City Manager. AC still presenting?
I'm going to cover for Eric this evening on this, and also Jack Eklund will help out as well. The legislative agenda, there's a number of projects that we'll get to. But you can see from Eric's memo that it lays things out, and I'll go in just a second. But just to put things in context, we do this annually with council, and in even number of years down in Olympia, it's a short session. It's 60 days. Odd number of years, which was 2025, was a long session. So the legislators were in session a lot longer. They were, in fact, 45 days longer than the short session. So it's 105 days in odd number of years in Olympia, and it's 60 days in even years. So just keep that in mind in terms of the ability for legislators to, pass legislation and get their business done. So just wanted to make that note. Page 2 of the memo, which I guess on your screen is also page 96 in the packet, but it's page 2 of the memo that Eric wrote. There's some staff ideas regarding policy that you may wish to discuss as a council on policy. The project list, the policy ideas list includes financial support for public safety expenses, financial support for infrastructure such as streets, sidewalks, and utilities, maintenance and operation, and expansion due to zoning mandates. Third, there's also in there's incentives to address state limitations on design standards, something that we have an interest in. And also, obviously, supporting our partner organizations, AWC and SHAPE, South Sound Housing Affordability Project. Also in the packet attached to Eric's memo is besides last year's briefing sheets that we give to legislators. On the back side, starting on the back side of that is the AWC's 2026 legislative priorities. It's smaller than it has been in the past, but again, this is a short session. There's also this problem of limited funding available to fund various projects, causes, etc. So you can see here, and I won't go through this unless there's questions. AWC highlights 4 areas: indigent defense, transportation, housing supply, and shared revenues. So we've seen larger and more robust list from AWC in the past, but it's coming out of their legislative committee and the hard work of AWC staff. That's what they published for the upcoming 2026 legislative session. So what does that mean for the city? As usual, our focus, unless we have a burning policy matter that we really need council and or staff to weigh in on, and in most cases, policy is derived from the collective efforts of cities, not any individual city or town or member of AWC, but it's the collective efforts, and that's why we have AWC there working for all 260 or 70 cities that they represent. So before I take any questions, we take any questions on any policy matters that council would like to see specifically in this document, I'm going to ask Jack to talk about the projects, which again is on the list. Jack, and I think we've got that project list here. I'm going to see where that is. Right here. So Jack, go ahead.
Thanks, Steve. So one thing that Steve mentioned is there, at least what we're hearing from Olympia, there's not likely a lot of money available. And so this, I don't have a lot of hope that we would get a lot of these projects on the list. However, I do think it's important still to have priorities to show an indication of, some of the needs of our community. What we have included as the project list, we have the 4 projects that were last year, that were in last year's priorities, are still on the list. We weren't able to get any funding that time. So that's completing the design for the Day Island Bridge. We have the traffic signal upgame project. Now we have added a little bit to that project. That originally was just doing battery backups and ADA improvements, but since that project was identified, we have also identified an additional need where we found out, we talked about this I know at a previous meeting, but our video detection system on our traffic signals has become no longer supported by the manufacturer, so we do need to do an upgrade to those as well. So we've added that to that project. We have street lighting improvements on Alameda Drive between Cirque and 67th Avenue, and then also Day Island Spit Road improvements to both enhance the seawall and marginally raise the Spit Road to help improve drainage and address some of the King type flooding issues. So all 4 of those were on the list, although like I said, the traffic signal upgrade project has been tweaked a little bit. And then also we're recommending adding to the list the two of the phases from that effort we did earlier in the year on the Cirque Park improvements. This would be to add, have an option if if the opportunity arises to have the Cirque Park spray pad, and then that also would go hand in hand with an additional restroom at that location. And then also another project would be for the Cirque Park sport courts, the multi-use sport courts. Those were the 2 items that were part of that study that took up a lot of our Park Commission's efforts in the last about year and a half. It was a pretty extensive effort we had. And then the last item on here is related to emergency management to help us have a better consistent battery backup system to help provide consistent power in times of emergency and power outages here at City Hall. And so that's the 7th project we have recommended on the list, but we'd like to, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on that, but like I said, I think this is a little different than we've had. Some other years we've had a little bit more focused list of we want to target this for this opportunity, this for that. Right now we're thinking it's a little broader net approach, and then if there is any kind of things that come up, we'd want to work with our legislators and representatives to see if there is something that they could see that from some of these items that could maybe get our foot in the door for something.
That list of 7 projects that Jack just went through is on the flip side of Eric's memo on page 3 if you're looking at your document, your packet. Just to let council know, in terms of framing your discussion, you can prioritize these projects or not. You can leave them as they are. You can delete them. Where we can see where we can find money for categories that will fit, or you can eliminate some or all of them. Just to be aware, there's likely to be few funds available this year in Olympia for this. It's not to say that there won't be an opportunity, and where opportunities arise, we're pretty good at presenting those to council, and you yourselves would potentially, if you get information that something looks like there could be an opportunity, we certainly are, with Jack's help and his team, capable of seizing upon that. So I don't say it's without a possibility. It's just that it's likely to be a low probability this year that we'll see funding for any of these projects. They're But it's important, I think, just from my own perspective, council can do as they wish in prioritizing these or not. But in terms of our perspective, it's important to put these out in front of our delegation, our members in Olympia, our reps who and the more they see these, the more that they can be mindful and look for those opportunities, because they have shown a strong interest in trying to help us achieve what we want to achieve here. So with that, I don't see any harm in listing those projects out, but I just don't see the likelihood is probably low in terms of funding, but we shall see. So I wanted to, well, let me just stop right there, because I think the project, it would be helpful maybe to take these in stages, is if we can just maybe get council feedback on this list of 7 projects. Are we missing something? Is there something you'd also like to make our legislators aware of that's not on this list? Or is there something that's on the list that you prefer not to be on the list?
So you're taking comment now?
Yes.
Okay. So Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. First, a quick question. On the list of the 7 projects, you have the Alameda Drive lighting improvements. But when you go to the actual brochure, the next one, you also have the sidewalk extension in Alameda, but it's not on the list of projects. Is that a mistake, or is it going to be not included?
2025. Jack.
This was the last year's?
Yes, I'm sorry. On page 2 was the last year's list. So.
And the sidewalk fell off. Was it funded or just not a priority for the city right now?
Alameda extension, sidewalk project extension, Jack.
Actually, I think that was just inadvertently left off. So the intent was to maintain what was in the previous list and just add to it. So that would be, the intent would be to maintain that on there as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much. And then other than that, as far as prioritization, just a general thought, it's good if we have 1 or 2 projects that we really want to emphasize, if there's one that, if we agree as a council on one. But honestly, I like the idea of kind of casting that wide. If all of a sudden miraculously parks money shows up, we can go after a spray park. Or if roads money or public safety money comes up, we can target that instead. So, if I had to pick, just what I think is the most important projects we need to work with would be the Alameda Drive lighting and sidewalks, just because it's a major safety issue for those who drive up and down that road or walk up and down that road specifically. And then finally, one quick question just as a follow-up on the Day Island Bridge. I know a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, something like that, we went through this whole process of trying to work with JBLM and the federal government to seek federal funding for this bridge. Is that dead? Is it on hold? Is there any hope of getting federal funding for that project, or where are we at with that?
So currently our most recent application has not been successful, and so it will, as opportunities arise, we'll continue to pursue that, but at least that opportunity was not successful.
And you're not tracking any current opportunities on the federal side right now?
Not right now. They come up cyclically, and there'll always be potentially opportunity in emergency management or some other things, but it's we are a bit of a victim of our own stewardship, because although the bridge itself is doesn't meet current structural seismic requirements, we've done a generally very good job of maintaining the bridge, and so it's not to a point that has risen to its deteriorating from lack of care or whatever. And so there's nationwide and statewide, unfortunately, there are a lot higher, many other bridges were just in bad repair as well, and so unfortunately that puts us kind of far down on a consideration list.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Before I move on to any of the council members, I'd like to take a spot here. It's just comment overall. I think we all know that it's a short session, and it is short. I don't believe there's anything, if anything extends this session, is because they come up with another $800 million that is needed this and for the 26. This particular year, it was about 10 to 12, $14 billion. I forget what they ended up with, and they're finding out that they need more money. I really think our probability of funding anything or anybody would be in the negative, just period. I mean, we should just recognize that. As far as prioritizing, I don't think we need to do that, because if there was any monies that all of a sudden just crept up, it's not going to be a lot of money, number one. Number two, if it is, they're going to look at our list and say, oh, this is $10, we can afford that. And they'll just pick it. They'll prioritize it by what the amount of money that they will, all of a sudden, if one of our state representatives said, oh, I can grab that for the City University place, let me look at their list. Oh, there's nothing there that can put on there, but if it is, they probably will grab it, and they'll prioritize on their own. So I don't think we need to do that. I think that to make it simple without spending a lot of time and energy and something like this is to continue what we did this year and add those extra projects and call it good. There's so many other things that, of course, we want to comment and say, take a look at this. We need this tool, we need that. We have PSRC, we have PCRC, we have AWC, we have counties, associations, you name it. Everybody has a finger, there's a lot of common thread, whether it be housing, whether it be zoning, whether it be toolkits, whether it be anything. There's so many already on there. I think that at this point, what we have already from this year can continue, and we just have the extra projects and call it good. That's my recommendation. Councilmember McCluskey.
All right, thank you. Since there's a limited budget for some of these state capital projects, do you know how much money is in the state budget? No?
I don't, but they've at least indicated don't expect too much.
Yeah, because they're in debt, yes, definitely. So I would like to, there's certain things we can massage on the list, because when a state legislature has some money and they like to see if University Place is a willing recipient, how ready is the project? Secondly, how much money they have and what that matches in the list that we have here. So there's a focus on safety, with Mayor Pro Tem Wood indicated Alameda lighting. We have I think it's a safety issue for the traffic signal upgrade project here as well. We know how arduous that is when those signals don't fire or they misfire improperly, and that could be a safety issue. We could, the Cirque Parks spray pad and restroom, the sports courts, those are really cool, nice amenities to have, but it's probably not on the top of the list. Maybe we can go for that, an RCO grant rather, for that. The City Hall backup, yeah, would be essential, especially if something fails. But it may not be essential with a limited budget. So I would suggest not taking anything off the list, because I'm afraid when you take things off the list, we'll forget about it. I like the reminder coming back through, but maybe the prioritization in regards to safety and some of the other emergent needs. Because you indicated the Day Island Bridge is probably unlikely, so that could probably go down maybe more towards the bottom of the list as the Day Island Spit Road. Because even though that is a big issue down there, it's probably not as likely to get funding as some things that has eminent safety issues and needs for our city. So I would kind of keep everything there, but look at it with those lens going forward, so that our state legislators, maybe they can't fund it all, but maybe they can give us a portion of it to get started on something. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you for the the time this is put into it, and I hear you with the dollars available, but I want to concur with Councilmember McCluskey's suggestion of just keeping it all. I too feel like, we forget about it if it's not there. So but I do like theming them together as far as just, bullet notes for them. Also, do we have a target date where we're trying to pre-brief our legislators on these before with anyone from our team?
I know we have plenty of time.
Right. I know we have time, but I didn't know if there was
a specific date.
Okay.
It could be. It's probably after the first of the year.
Okay. All right.
I know usually if there is something, they need to have their stuff in, and usually it's around February timeframe, so we usually like to have that conversation with them in January.
Okay. Thank you. And confirmation, Councilmember Fleming still sits on AWC Legislative Committee?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just confirm that we're talking now 8 projects, not 7. Is that what we agreed
That's
to?
correct.
Thank you so much. The only thing I would say in terms of affirming the comments that have been offered up is that more is always better. Folks need choices. We have an opportunity and an obligation to put forward some options and opportunities in our view that make sense. The only thing I'd like to do, I know you made the comment, City Manager Sugg, that if there's something that we had left off the list, maybe we could add that. I would implore us, if we want to do anything in particular, that for additional homework assignment, as if we all need any more homework assignments, is to find more projects. The good news, I think, is that we get to govern, and if we've put the best that we can, a list that's in front of our legislators to let them know what it is that we care most about in the city of University Place, I think that's what we're supposed to do. And whether we're in our midst of an anticipated short session or not, our responsibilities remain the same. So advocacy, advocacy, advocacy. I've already practically done that, good, bad, or indifferent. The comments that I've had with our legislators tend to line up with exactly, not so surprisingly, the types of suggestions that we've heard. There's not much there. As a matter of fact, some of the comments were, what is it that we might want to look at other people needing to give up in order for our priorities to come forward? It's that kind of clear budget situation that is being placed in front of us. So I just would encourage us again, let's make sure that we've got a list that makes sense. This list not only makes sense, but for me, it just continues with the right things that we had identified, that good, bad, and different we didn't get funded in the last session. So I'm excited about what we get a chance to do, and always looking for more. Just make sure that they've got options in front of them that can help them help the City of University Place. That concludes my comments, Mayor.
Okay, I do have one last comment. And as everybody here, the council knows that there will be a day up there that we can go and do this advocacy with AWC. I believe that if there is an advantage with the short session, or any session, but definitely this one, is that we go as many as can go. And the reason is, if there was any funds of any type that perks up, every legislator in the state is going to try to grab it, and we should give our legislators here the opportunity to be heard and seen with a maybe a positive note on the side, where the colleagues that they talk to that are helping them help her, is that because it really does matter when they see council members show up. I don't know how many times I've heard it. Well, you got the whole gang here. You got the whole council, most of the council here. It's noticed, and when other legislators are noticing that a city is well represented and they're advocating for their needs, not that they're going to say, yeah, I'm going to help you, but all of a sudden something perks up and there's those hard conversations. I just know in life that they're going to say, oh, yeah, University Place, who did I meet? They're going to just be thinking about EP representatives. So I think it really does matter at the end of the day. In case there is anything, we have a chance to maybe leverage that with our presence. So I do encourage everyone here for us to attend and be active, so that if that comes up, we give it that last little push. That's it. So do you have enough to come back with
the CIP portion? Now I want to switch over to the policy, which is the smaller piece of this, but certainly we want to just have a short discussion with council about this. And back on page 2 of Eric's memo, there's a list of 5 staff ideas. It rolls over on page 3, but there's 5 policy issues, 3 of which are being driven by AWC. One of them is SHAPE, South Sound Housing Affordability Project. Those are potentially, those 4 issues would be things that we could see potentially the city supporting in our legislation and the priorities that you adopt, or none of them. But I wanted to go through that really quickly with you. The first one, and just get a read from you as to whether or not this looks like something we want to include in the document of support in the resolution that you will ultimately pass. One is request legislative clarification on the process for cities that contract for police services to qualify for funding provided in House Bill 2015 to hire and retain police officers, and support AWC's request for additional tools to support public safety. If you notice up at the top of that page, on page 2, there's a little bit of a description about House Bill 2015, where the legislator created a new state grant program and a new councilmanic 0.1% local sales tax option for funding public safety programs. You notice it's an option. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but what this House bill does is provides a local sales tax option for to be implemented at local council levels. This was an AWC priority. However, the bill is unnecessarily complicated, requiring implementation of a long list of policy, reporting, and compliance procedures to qualify for either source of funding. There are also questions about whether this funding mechanism can be used by cities such as us that contract for police services. So that's what that number 1 policy issue is about for us. It's providing clarification whether or not you ever intend to use this council, or future council intends to use its councilmanic authority provided under House Bill 2015. That's what that's about. I don't know, we can just leave it there. If you wanted to, if you want further clarification for us, if you want to go a deeper dive, we would probably have to bring that back and discuss it further with you.
So just a quick comment, Council. I have a real issue with having a laundry list that just doesn't stop. Legislative priorities and legislative things going up to the legislators, especially in this arena that we're in. I think it gets diluted to just have things over and over and over, things that are being presented by others, and I don't want to see ours diluted by just continues to add something that doesn't really pertain to us, number 1, or is being presented by others and advocated by others. I just feel it's to have a laundry list that just goes on, and if I'm a legislator, I would get tired just looking at the list without reading it. So I would caution us to continue to add policy issues on all this. So if we do, it should be really something that we direly need, really bad, that we can advocate and do.
So with that, maybe I should have, rather than going down the list in order as Eric's listed it here, maybe I should have gone directly to item number 4, which is something that staff does feel that it's worth placing in a council-adopted legislative priority list. And as you can see there, this is not on AWC's priority list. It is on our priority list, however. The state has imposed regulations that limit what Kevin can do and his staff in our Community and Economic Development Department, and imposing design guidelines and standards on developers that build in University Place. He's explained that to you before in several cases about our ability to get better buildings that face the public streets and that ultimately are there for generations. Something that we've had concerns about, you've had concerns, and we are trying to address that in the best way we can with the limited tools that we have, and that the rules that were imposed at the state have put severe limitations on our ability to get better buildings designed by developers. And we feel it's more developers, that the state rules are more developer-centric than city-centric. And we would hope that our legislative delegation would champion that discussion down there for us, and we'd be glad to help them write that legislation.
Okay.
So that's about as best as I can frame it for you, council members.
Okay.
But you've all heard from my staff, in particular Kevin, about this.
Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to affirm and thank City Manager Sugg for prioritizing for, at least for me, where it is that staff feels most strongly about as we have the opportunity to talk about policy impacts. I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the posture and expectation that could go forward, good, bad, or indifferent, based upon the landscape as it impacts development opportunities inside the city of University Place, mostly because we have been very intentional about ensuring that as we build out a city of destination, that how we look at our infrastructure, what it is that we do in terms of our own design standards. Very much so want to remind folks, when I had the opportunity to be a planning commissioner, that it was very important for us to introduce design standards that have been impactful in our city. I'd like to see a complementary effort to come, or at the very least an effort that doesn't thwart those types of intentions, to ensure that we have the best expectation of how we want to see development unfold in our own city. I don't think it's too much to ask, but I also believe if we don't ask, our legislators miss the opportunity of really recognizing where it is that we'd like for them to weigh in and what we want them to see from from the state's posture. We only are looking to ensure that the standards that have been provided in our own city are at least made available through our intentional council engagement and the staff that undergirds our decisions. And so I'm excited to hear that there is a priority, at least in terms of that. I'm glad you made it really clear for council to understand what might be most important to staff. And I really believe that that really does shape what our city ultimately looks like, because we get one shot ultimately about what a business or structure looks like, and then we've got 20 plus years to live with it. And all our residents in the city is going to do is evaluate it and see, was it worth, was the juice worth the squeeze? And I want them to come away with the expectation of, yes, it was. We leaned into the very best product that we could offer in our city. And I think it starts with us being able to right now declare that we'd like for our legislators to take a look at this particular policy opportunity, because we are invested in what the city of University Place build out looks like now and in the future. Yeah. That's my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. So to clarify, what we are looking at right now is 8 project funding type requests and up to 4 policy requests after we decide on this in our discussion. And again, thank you for clarifying number 4 is the number 1 priority. After reading through the list you provided of those 4.
I'm sorry, it rolls over to the next page.
Next
there's
page.
one on South Sound.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's 5. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So 5. I still agree that number 4 should be our number 1 priority. Question about number one on the police services one. If we're requesting clarification, does it require a legislative change to the current law, or does it just, we got to get somebody in the staff to clarify what they mean?
Well, that is a Matt Kaiser, City Attorney Matt Kaiser question, which I know he'll be able to amply answer that one. So.
I can't answer that. Matt Kaiser, City Attorney. The simple answer to that, at least from AWC's perspective, and it's one that I concur, is it probably requires legislative action as opposed to some sort of administrative clarification. Has the manager, Mike is... if it's not one thing, it's another. As the manager pointed out during his preliminary remarks, the recent legislation has two direct impacts on cities. One is that it frees up a source of funds that are available to them together with the taxing authority. The CJTC, Criminal Justice Training Academy Center, does the program administration of that. And AWC has been advised, and they've been exchanging correspondence, that the CJTC interprets those provisions of state law to require that both the jurisdiction and the contract provider, in our case would be Pierce County, do the joint applications, have concurrence, and the like. When you take a look at the legislation that the legislature passed last session, on this point, it's not a model of clarity. And the quick answer to that, as I pointed out in my preliminary remarks, is it's probably much more advantageous to go through the legislative fix.
Okay, got it, thank you. And then going on from there, number 3, I actually support that one because the state has done a great job of mandating things for us, and I want the state now to be aware of the costs of those mandates. And if this is one method of messaging our costs, I think that's a brilliant idea. And so I would support AWC in that as well. And then, of course, let's see here. SHAPE, obviously that's one of our council priorities, is looking at expanding housing affordability issues just within our city. So I think that's a great idea. The only one I would question, and not because I don't think it's a good thing, but indigent defense one, the increased funding for it. I know we're supporting AWC in that, but as our city, we contract out our our courtroom services. Is this really a priority for our city that we should be spending our time on? Just if you could clarify that for me, why you think this is important.
Yeah. So this is an issue that's affecting all cities in different ways. We do not directly see it because of the contract that we currently have through Pierce County, and that contract runs through the end of next year. We've already had preliminary discussions about what the next contract starts to look like, and whether we contract directly with Pierce County District Court on an ongoing basis, and we've advised Pierce County, let's start having that conversation, let's start getting those numbers, or we go with some other service delivery model for indigent defense services, there will be a financial impact that we will see, whether it's just directly or indirectly. With the Supreme Court's most recent order on indigent defense, public defenders have a improved caseload, as it were. However, that also corresponds to increased cost to jurisdictions who are required to handle the prosecution and the defense of those cases that are put into the system. So you're going to see the impact, whether it's directly that we have to go out and we hire our indigent defense counsel, or indirectly has an all-in bundle type service with Pierce County District Court.
Got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So with that clarification, I agree that should remain on the list, but also to the mayor's point, I think capping it at 5 is probably a good idea, just to see where we go. Thank you.
Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, as Mayor Pro Tem usually does, I think he read my notes from
I was looking over his shoulder.
Yeah. We usually, so I concur with his statements, including thank you for getting Mr. Kaiser involved, because a meeting that you don't speak, it makes me nervous. So I'm glad we heard from you finally this evening, so that settles me for the evening as well. But I also want just a couple of clarifications on number 4. I agree that this should be our priority, and I agree with Councilmember Boykin's sentiments around the idea. We have one chance to make a first impression when it comes to our exterior, and this is a great tool that Kevin uses, I think, well to enhance our community, to enhance our business district. Clarification, though, we still, with this in place, we still have our own design standard leverage that we can use for developers that take advantage of the tax abatement. Is that correct? So this does not nullify that requirement?
No, we still have that as an incentive.
As an incentive.
Where council would like to apply that. It's not universal. Well, it's there. It's on the books. And yes, we're not without tools.
Okay.
But what we're asking for is the ability to write code.
Correct.
So it's not we're not having to negotiate every time, and then trade tax
Right.
taxes away.
Right.
Basically.
But that has not disappeared in any of this legislation.
The tax haven is still there.
I'm just confirming.
We can get there where council, if council so chooses to use its authority to provide that. There's a way to get there.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. I agree that this should be a priority for us, and I like partnering with AWC where it makes sense. I like, as Mayor Pro Tem said, with SHAPE, again, part of our council goals, where it makes sense, I think, especially in this short session, bolster us together as much as possible. Just makes the most sense. So thank you for your hard work on paring it down. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Councilmember McCluskey.
All right, thank you. So of the 5 goals, there's really one that's really city-driven. The rest is all tied to AWC or to SHAPE. Right? Is there some way to make these things more concise so that it's, to the mayor's point, that it's not so lengthy? Especially if, on one of my ideas, number 4 is similar to the one to maintain local control over community planning. It's so maybe to incorporate having the cities have more local control, and that would take care of that one on my side, so that it's not only the developers having leverage to go and we acquire projects that we may not be happy with at the end of the day. There'll be more teeth in it to comply with a more local control leverage. It's not as incentivization, it's more legislatively putting in those constraints in partnership with the incentivized compliance piece. So, and that will get it down to 4 instead of 5.
Well, are you done?
Yeah,
thank you. I think that I don't know why we can't just a blanket statement says we support AWC's priorities. Why do we have to spell it out? Are we saying that this is the only ones we support, not the other ones? I'm not sure, but I don't know why we can't say we support AWC, because if I'm the legislator, I can't read all this to determine what you're supporting or not on AWC. All I'm trying to see is a city saying, I do not support AWC this. That's what they're going to be trying to track. Is there somebody here that doesn't care for this particular thing that we're going to try to see if we can do for AWC? That's the easiest way for them to identify whether they can move forward or not, and hearing the no's. The other thing is that, again, number 1 really doesn't pertain to us. Number 4, I think it is not just about UP. Whatever legislation we're asking them to do is going to have to somehow fit for every city. And so, because they're not going to do it just for UP. It's very rare they do anything just for one city. So I think that does really provide them to say, oh, that would really benefit my city, Spokane or whatever. So I think that would, again, I don't have any problem with that. I think that probably needs to be spelled out a little bit better. And again, with the shape, I mean, there's all kinds of people that are doing that. I really caution our council and our staff to, I mean, if you look at what we already have, an A project, most our legislators, even as much as they love UP, they're not going to be looking at everything that we have in there unless, again, all of a sudden something perks up money and Mari or whomever says, oh, let me see what UP has. And that's when they're going to really look at all this. So short is better in this case. I understand about the advocacy, more is better, but maybe in projects, that I agree with, but all this other stuff, I don't think so.
Okay.
That's my comment. So, do you have enough to kind of entertain us next round?
I think we've got, you've given us enough feedback that we can compose and draft a piece of legislation up that, this will be pared down and made more streamlined. This is a more expanded version. It also includes, Councilmember ideas. Councilmember McCluskey, her ideas and thoughts were laid out so you can see those. And I wanted to ask Councilmember McCluskey if you'd like to, if there's any of these other items that you wanted to promote and then get council feedback on.
Yes. Thank you. Mayor, do you have the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Of course. The chief said he wanted to hear about it. I figured I got outvoted.
I just wanted
here.
to make sure that we had not left here without,
It is a study session, so yes. Councilmember McCluskey, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. So we're making it concise and succinct with all the support of AWC and SHAPE. And then number 4 is our highlight for our big acts for the discussed policy issues. So in light of that, there's a couple things on my list that comes up to the surface. The first two, the collaboration between courts and behavioral health and supported service providers, that could probably take a back seat to that. Because there's other factors and other policy issues going on surrounding that currently. So I was just hoping that would put it into our representatives' minds when they're voting or on these various committees. The net zero is more, Pierce County homelessness, so that could tie into SHAPE. As far as the environmental protection, I think there are some issues with that, especially on the state level, to protect from federal actions that encourage tree cutting and mining in our federal and state lands. I think the climate action plans, I think there's, once again, other things that are going on to massage that. We may not have to totally spell it out. Mayor Pro Tem may have another take on that. But there's certainly policy under the Growth Management Act and the climate change policy coming forward that could probably take a back seat on that. One thing that I think is really essential is providing funding in the adoption of updates to the emergency management plan, especially given the reductions in FEMA. The state is working on that, but I would like our city to make a statement in support of that in case there's an emergency, that hopefully they'll be able to provide some sort of baseline support to help people so they don't fall all the way through the safety net. So so the environmental protection, if we can circle back to that with the affluences that are released from our Pierce County sewer, we have an issue because 12 months out of the year we cannot, it's closed to shell fishing because of the contamination, and that should be worked on. So I'll just wait for other council members to make comments.
I'll make comments
I'll rest
on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
I wasn't sure if you were advocating to take out the first bullet, second bullet.
I was.
And okay, so we can agree to that, right?
Yes.
Your bullets
Right.
1 and 2 are gone.
Because there's
Okay.
currently other policies at the
Right.
state level
Okay.
that's.
As far as the third bullet, again, I really think there's so many regulations up there and people advocating to protect the Puget Sound water quality. There's even a Puget Sound Water Quality Commission, and there's many more. And as far as state protections from federal actions, that's a whole different matter. I don't think that that's a city level. And as far as providing funding and expertise for state maintenance, I think that's,
I took that one
Oh,
off.
did you? Okay. So the one that really, and I'll get to the fourth one, is that to me is really goes, I would combine that one with that other one we were talking about. Okay, I would combine that and make remember I said it needs some help. This actually provides that help. Okay. And the last bullet, Denise, and that is, I think that there's people already, I guarantee you, up there looking for funding. Everybody's looking for money for their own particular arena and expertise, and FEMA emergency management is a big one. And I can't imagine nobody is up there other than you that is advocating for emergency funding. So and they're knowing that there's, with reductions, everybody knows there's been reductions and even more, especially in this arena. So I think there's a lot of conversation being had. I think if anything, if we wanted to add, and we're not actually adding, we can blend that fourth bullet with the other one, and that's my comments to your bullets.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood?
Just on the emergency action planning one, I like the concept behind it. I think if it was more focused on what we need as a city, which I believe is one of our council goals for the next biennium, is to do climate action planning, but specifically as it relates to emergency management issues. I think if we are to find a way to advocate, and it could be here, it could be elsewhere, for funding to support doing our climate action planning, and also to address issues that arise, whether it's urban wildland interface problems, sea level rise issues, anything like that. I think a more specific city ask might be the way to go here. Because I do believe the mayor's point was that there's a lot of people talking about it right now. I think there's also still a lot of uncertainty of what the feds are even going to do or not do. And so, no, I like the concept behind it, obviously, but I think I would want to focus it a little bit more on what we need right now, if we could.
We really don't know yet.
Well, we do know we need money for planning.
We do, yeah.
That much we know. We know we have to plan as a city, and any external funding support we can get to support that would be great. So that would be my only comment there. Thank you.
I would agree with that, and I think that that's one way that maybe, and we can leave it up to staff, Jack, and say, okay, it's just a 50,000. This is where if something perks up, it's going to be at that level. Oh, we just found 50,000. What can we do that makes sense? Well, this would make sense because that's coming down the road. So I would agree. Rewrite that to talk about that a little bit more specific to the city. Because Mari's going to say, well, that's really big. But if we, like you said, narrowed it down, funding for planning, and if you can even put a number in there, it'd be even better, because that's what they're going to be looking for. When something perks up, where can I find a project that's worth $25,000? Oh, UP has one. So, yeah, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, part of that was twofold, but the emergency management plans for the planning, we can just go with that. The other concern that I have is if a catastrophic event happens, that there's not a safety net. For sure, FEMA can't make everybody whole. Insurance can't do that anymore. But to protect them so that they have some of their basic life essentials taken care of in case of an emergency. But I'll compromise and just go with the planning piece. That makes it easier and more concise.
I think so. Notwithstanding that you're absolutely right. There's a lot of unknowns, and where is this funding coming from?
Right.
I think that we should engage and stay in the loop when these conversations are being had at the county level or other organizations, so that we can provide more specific input as it regards to small cities or our city. Okay. Yes, sir.
And just one more additional comment, because you raised an interesting idea. So first, I like what we're going to do or what we want to do, but for something to keep an eye on, because the state does have what used to be called, I think, the Wildfire Fund, which was designed to, where the state basically socked away money to deal with wildfire problems, and mostly in the eastern part of the state. I believe a few years ago it was expanded to be able to address most, or if not all, natural disaster issues. But I would bet that fund is right now underfunded, and this is a guess on my part, I don't know. But I'm betting it's underfunded or not receiving the amount of money it needs to actually address all the potential issues, especially in light of concerns at the federal level. And while I don't know enough about that subject that I think we could write a statement right now, I think it's something we could look at as just as concerned citizens, if nothing else, to say, hey, is that fund actually capable of supporting the state in the event of a major natural disaster that could affect us, like, well, I don't know, Cascadia? And how much would it provide before we have to go to the feds? So it's a good question you raise.
Well, we can post that to our legislators, and yes, that's a different thing. That's
It's a different thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay. Good?
We're good now.
Okay.
We've got it.
Okay, if you're good, we're good. This regular council meeting is adjourned.